About 12 environmental groups approached us 3.5 years ago and asked if we could help against the Kinder Morgan campaign, and we said, sure, we will. And that's what Uncle Phil was saying. We said, we will, but what we wanted to do, and what the elders said, is we'll show you why. Let us show you why we do. Let us show you why we love the land and why we're a part of it. And that triggered something in Vancouver, because in the last year in particular, I spoke with many, many different religious organizations, from Baha'i to Buddhist to Catholic to Christian to all these different religious organizations. And with the idea of when Red Cloud, this is a famous Lakota spiritual leader, he came to our sweat lodge, and my brother said, we'd be really honored if you ran the ceremony for us. And he said, nope. He said, when I come to your house, I'll do the ceremony your way. When you come to my house, we'll do it my way. And that's why I approached this idea, because my grandfather, Chief Dan George, who was an honorary member of the Jewish and Christian faith, and he traveled with the same message. He said, whatever you are and whatever you're practicing, just be good at it. If you're going to carry a pipe, or you're going to be longhouse, spirit dancer, or you're going to be Catholic or Christian, he said, be good at it. He said, look clear to the fundamentals of humanity that create the foundation of that religious or spiritual belief. And those are easy, because that's love and honor and respect and dignity, pride, compassion, understanding, truth, all those good things. When we come from there, we won't make wrong decisions. When we approach one another, we will do it in a respectful way. And when we explore each other's culture and spirituality or religion, we find there's more similarities than differences. And in every religious belief, it's the human side of people that take those teachings and use them for ego or for whatever it might be in a negative way. But the teachings are always consistent, and the teachings are always good, no matter what it is. And that's what I learned. And like my grandfather, I have done that. I traveled and I did ceremony with all these different religious beliefs. And I didn't compromise who I am or where my teachings are, but it didn't stop me from having a good prayer with somebody. So with that, a good friend, John Hale, I'd like to come up and represent some of the religious and spiritual organizations in this area. Let's give him a hand.
Of affirmation for the inspiring leadership that we're getting from Reuben and Chief Phil Lane and the Indigenous that are teaching us to come together based on spirit to protect the sacredness of our land and all of the people that are on it. And the beauty of having this come from the Indigenous is the 10,000 years of authentication that it brings. And the beauty is that it is resonating in every spiritual and religious tradition when we go deep enough to the roots of what started them. And so today we have several leaders of different traditions to be able to say a brief blessing on this gathering we have here today. It's up to all of us, and the beauty is that when we see the messages from the different perspectives, it enriches the whole, and it illuminates the blind spots that we have when we're in our own space. I'd like to introduce Katie Ladd, who is pastor of the Queen Anne Methodist Church.
So I wrote mine down because I preached too long this morning, so I've learned I'm long-winded. So I'm going to stick to a script so you don't have to endure that right now. I want to say that Methodists are new kids on the block. We arrived here on Alki in 1853 and became the first church in the Seattle region when First United Methodist Church was founded that year. And but that is such a drop in the bucket of the history of peoples living in this area and of all the non-human creation that has made this place home for so long. Since we came here in 1853, we've now become known as United Methodists. So what I'm going to read to you is called our social principle statement on the environment. And key in, Baptists have one, Lutherans have one, Catholics have one. It goes, United Church of Christ has one. So you can walk into any church and use their own words about the environment to get them to be part of this movement. And here are the words you can use to get United Methodists. These words are supposedly supported by all 12 million members of the United Methodist Church. All creation is the Lord's, and we are responsible for the ways in which we use and abuse it. Water, air, soil, minerals, energy resources, plants, animal life, and space are to be valued and conserved because they are God's creation, and not solely because they are useful to human beings. God has granted us stewardship of creation. We should meet these stewardship duties through acts of loving care and respect. Economic, political, social, and technological developments have increased our human numbers and lengthened and enriched our lives. However, these developments have led to regional defoliation, dramatic extinction of species, massive human suffering, overpopulation, and the misuse and overconsumption of natural and non-renewable resources, particularly by industrialized societies. This continued course of action jeopardizes the natural heritage that God has entrusted to all generations. Therefore, let us recognize the responsibility of the church and its members to place a high priority on changes in economic, political, social, and technological lifestyles to support a more ecologically equitable and sustainable world, leading to a higher quality of life for all of God's children. So with those words, I want to offer this blessing upon this gathering and my gratitude for being invited to speak at it. In the name of God, who creates, redeems, and inspires, may this alliance be as strong as the mountains that stand witness to and vigil over the Salish Sea. May this alliance be as wondrous as the sea itself and as diverse as all of the life that teems within her. May we be led to bold actions that protect all life, particularly non-human creation. May this alliance challenge us to live every day acutely aware of the interconnectedness of all life. May we change our habits to use fewer resources and to seek God's shalom above all else. May God lead us to lives rooted in justice, compassion, and peace. May God breathe life into this alliance and into each of us so that we might resist all structures and systems that oppress, marginalize, and exploit. And may God rain grace upon this sacred water and upon this sacred land such that we can do nothing but gaze in awe and bask in the holiness that infuses it already. So in the name of the God who creates, redeems, and inspires, may it be so. Amen and amen.
Michael Douglas will now offer a blessing from the Sufi tradition.
I'm very appreciative to be able to offer a blessing from my tradition for this gathering. This is a song of blessing. It's a song for the Creator of us all, whose deepest reality is compassion and mercy. The one who has brought us all together on this day, and who knows what is deep in all of our hearts. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Jami, Ya Alim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Jami, Ya Alim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Jami, Ya Alim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Jami, Ya Alim. Yamin.
Thank you, Michael. Our next blessing will come from Kanjan Sederman from a Buddhist Seattle temple.
The purpose of this prayer is to give praise and respect to the ancestors of this land and this air, and also to purify the minds of the people living on this land. So at this time, I will perform a Gokito blessing. 가시도 안넌 hen린 조주만 울린 소도 가구수주 호소건 호주 다게 가수도 가구소 댕가구 댕구조 사주기 가구만다라게 삼부트 그다이수가 조도 흑이니 수겐조리느 흐소그노뇨 시주주먼세 조다이수조이 야구고인행 가속이고 만삼보묘 서울수 그도근주와 스리비기사 갱가신사이시니 세보와 그지 지수스스스주므로 그날 캠프 사이 스스스만시가 지리기노세 고소므로 주고그주고서 도근요 도으치 사모 도시 소기도 단로 요진부드고지 부고뇨 이센노벤이지 고지드사이니 곤지문어세 고모가 야그이 세부 그조 그겐사이 범부된도 지드사이 동메드이도 겐가 코니조 교시진호 이즈자그고 요그다오 아그도 주가조 주조교도 흑교도 지요 가도 이세 주주호 마이지 사세넷 이가로 수조 도크뉴무 조도 소크조 주부시. Thank you very much.
Next up is Karen Lindquist, representing the Inner Spiritual Community Sanctuary.
I would like to share with you a centuries-old prayer. And this prayer is called the Rose Prayer. It becomes important for a day like this, for a gathering like this, because it evokes the quality of love. And the quality of love is what we have to fuel within ourselves to be able to have the capacity to do what is required of us. The Rose Prayer is ancient, and yet it takes us into the future. If you imagine your heart, within your heart there is a rose that has the capacity, when watered, when receiving nourishment, it opens slowly, broadly, completely, and the fragrance is released. This is where we are in the Rose Prayer, and this is where we have to live every day if we're going to be able to do this work. If we're going to be able to do this work with love, and if we're going to be able to purify our environment, we have to purify ourselves. So this prayer comes from that place of purification of the individual, the perfection of one's thoughts, the perfection of one's actions, the perfection of one's speech, the perfection of one's desires, which is a key point here. What we desire, we have to fuel with passion. And we desire to love more deeply than any generation has done before. So we have to go deeper in this moment now. Our traditions are diverse, but our center is in the heart, and it is pure. And so this prayer is also a prayer of direction. And we say now this prayer: may this moment be blessed. May goodness be opened, and may evil be dispelled. And may our humble plea be accepted in the court of honor. May the most glorious God purify and fill our hearts with the light of the greatest name. And may the hearts of the lovers be opened. And I invite you all to now say, who, who, who.
Michael Ramos is Executive Director of the Church Council of Greater Seattle.
I'd like to give honor to the Duwamish people on whose land we have the privilege of sitting. Honorable Cecile Hansen, and leaders here. Indigenous leaders, thank you for your leadership and for bringing us here together. This is a movement of spirit, and you are leading the way. Thank you very much. I want to be clear that while I'm here on behalf of the churches of this local community, that I'm really here for my 16 and 19-year-old daughters and for the children, and for all humankind. May they know the sacredness of the Salish Seas restored to its fullest capacity. Let it be so. In 1987, the Church Council of Greater Seattle led the effort among Christian denominations to acknowledge our profound lack of respect for the religion and culture of Indigenous peoples, the failure to honor and support Native practices, and our racism toward our Indigenous brothers and sisters of the Pacific Northwest over many generations. This step was rooted in a deep movement of heart and spirit, rooted in renewed relationships and embrace of our common humanity. Bishops and other leaders pledged the solidarity of our churches with Native-led efforts to support their spiritual practices, to fish their waters, and to uphold the integrity of their sacred places. Such a step one generation ago has been affirmed twice, in 1997, and then last Friday on August 29th. Many of you were there at St. Mark's Cathedral. Our commitment is more than with words. For the next generation and the next and the next, for 7 generations, we pledge to live with body, mind, and soul to embody a genuine and loving solidarity. Where the Spirit will take us, we do not know, but we embark on this journey willingly and wholeheartedly. Here today, church's responsibility meets the fundamental rights of First Nations peoples to live, to a sufficient, sustainable livelihood, to join in honoring the sacredness of Mother Earth, and to protect the Salish Sea. We hope and pray that the launching of Nawatsamaat will bear fruit in many encounters of people from all spiritual backgrounds to, as the words indicate, to act in alliance as one house, one heart, one prayer, united in power to protect the sacred. What more beautiful teaching can you offer to us? What message could be better to reflect Indigenous ways which make us whole in one circle of life in our one Salish Sea? The earth is crying out, and we call on liberating and healing spirit to bring life once more from death-dealing tar sands destruction and relentless fossil fuel extraction. I offer a brief prayer drawn from our apologies. Spirit, honor and celebrate the Cedar and Salmon people. You teach us that if we remain silent when sacred sites are torn up, that even these very stones will shout. The way to right previous wrongs is to join water and blood in our stand together, to respect what is sacred and belongs to no one but to you. Unleash one more time the power of the land and of ancient wisdom, so that we might act as one mighty and powerful blessing upon the creation which you renew and which we have the privilege of walking softly upon together through your goodness. And so our journey, our alliance, our trust knows no international border, no artificial boundary, as our churches have learned quite late. Earth, air, fire, and water, sacred to all. Tribal leaders, you continue to teach us the ways of reconciliation and rebirth in sacred circle and sacred action. Receive our disposition, our open hands, and our sign of peace, which the world does not understand, and lead us to right action, right livelihood, and right relationship with the sacred seas and land. Let it be so. Spirit, guide us. Amen.
And so, unprecedented unified action brings those of us from different spiritual profiles, different activist and issue profiles into alignment to make a difference. We all are humbled and inspired by the leadership that brought us here today. And our final offering in this spiritual context is with Sweetwater Nanook, representing Idle No More Washington. She has so many different areas that she gifts us with her spirit.
I would like to call up my Tlingit brothers and sisters to join me and stand beside me now. My name is Sweetwater Nanook. I'm from the Kiliwil clan of the Tsimshian Nation. My father is from the Kiksadi people, the Raven Frog clan. My grandfather is from the Siitkwedi, the Glacier people. And my great-grandmother, Yefiadikla, was the precious grandchild of the Nanyai, the upper living people. I'm a direct descendant of Chief Shakes and Chief Nanak. And I would just like to give a moment for my brothers and sisters to introduce themselves, what your name and what clan you are from, so we know who is all here.
I'm Pamela Stearns. My Tlingit name is Cleanse. My homelands are Hoona, Alaska, and my Tlingit clan name is Wishkitan, that's Eagle Shark. Thank you all for coming.
My name is Ryan Qualls. I am from the Kiksadi clan. My Tlingit name is Satanish.
My name is Esther Manship. I'm from Kagwantan, Tlingit. My name is Ka'ayi. Thank you for coming.
My name is Hannah McCullough. My father is from the Tlingit clan, Eagle clan, Tlingit nation, and my Tlingit name is Shakewis. Thank you.
I'm just thankful for the Coast Salish people, the Duwamish people. I raise my hands to you, the Tulalip's, the Nisqually, any of our other brothers and sisters here, and those who are here and those who couldn't be here. We're originally from Alaska, and up there we've dealt with the Exxon Valdez oil spill of 1989 that we're still dealing with today. There is no clean oil, there is no clean coal, and we're still, even our families, my own relatives have died from cancer, and many times, many families have been impacted by this, and not just our people, but those who can't speak for themselves. Even killer whale pods are extinct and disappearing now. So it's really important that we all, I'm grateful to see us all here to stand in one voice, one body, one nation, one spirit. And it's very important, as you know, I don't want to preach to the choir here, but what we're doing today, as my elders have said, is it's not for us, but our children and our children's children. And so the work I will be doing with the Idle No More Washington, I invite you to go to the Facebook page and keep up on updates, but to have teach workshops about historical trauma, history of colonization, spiritual activism, how to work with natives in doing this work, because it's time, as we've had this here in Alaska too. The churches, Presbyterian, apologized to our people for the wrongdoings that were done to our ancestors. So it's time now, as many have said, to come together in a good way, to lift each other up. The prayers that are laid down here are for many generations to come. And we're here standing united to stop this. And so I'm going to offer a prayer in my language as I was taught. And I invite you to pray in your own way, however your beliefs and faiths are from your heart. So we're praying for the Salish Sea and all of life. I was up in Bella Bella too, and they had a rally up there, and you know, I even prayed for the Prime Minister, and that's what we're doing too. And for those who think they're in charge, those who think they have power, we have the spiritual power. We have our ancestors who laid down those prayers that we could stand here today. And so we are very strong, and the power we have, they cannot take away from us. So I'm thankful and honored to stand with each and every one of you. So please join with me now in this prayer. Gunalchish dikian kawu, Gunalchish hashagenia, Gunalchish hashuka yayagi, wa'each sati, ikatu khatang. Dikian kawu hagachi. Ha'ayi ha'ish adu sadaikiyat. Dagachsayi ayi sayi. Dahat kagut hatlatki kadei ayi. Daklachkonach ayi yakagach du sitia naich. Cha'awi dikiyakuhan. Hajitia yayagi katleko. Kach ade ye na uuhan. Hasla uskeyi. Tlilha shigudiku han katlin kayi. Katsuha chasanechu han. Diyan kawujida. Yayich sati atlatki kade. Ka ikotsini. Katsuitlatsayi. Dikiach cha'a lagu. Gunalchish ichsichan dikiyan kawu. Gunalchish ichsichan hashagenia ka hashag. Ka hashagun. Yeah, thank you.
Ganesh Chish, it's my pleasure and honor to introduce the Tlingit song, the Huna exit song. Please join us.
Yahweh, Yahweh, hoo, ha, hey, 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 Yahweh, Yahweh, hoo, ha, hey, 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 Yahweh, Yahweh, hoo, ha, hey, 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 Yahweh, Yahweh, hoo, ha, hey, 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 hey. I gotta keep singing. Yahweh, Yahweh, hoo, ha.